Shalom and welcome. My name is Queen Sharon of A Higher Grace Ministries, and I come to you in the name of the Lord, and blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Now, I've come to you today to share a testimonial. It was something that happened decades ago to me, long before I was aware of this path that I'm on, this journey. This probably happened, trying to think now, maybe 20, 30 years ago. Just to give you a bit of background, I had been working in what was a good job at the time, had worked my way up in this particular company, was at a decent level, but voluntary redundancies were offered. Now, I'd been working in a team that was associated with sales. Now, I'd always wanted to work in sales since, I don't know, however far back I could remember, and I'd had this job for about 2 years. But often, like many things that we want, wasn't all that it was cracked up to be for me. It was a good job, though. Good company and everything else. And at that time, the company were offering voluntary redundancies. And the voluntary redundancies came with a pretty good pay package. So I had to think about it. Now, as I said, I'd been in this job for about 2 years. Now, when I joined this particular group in this job, the group was bringing in a revenue of about £9 million per year, which was not bad. But then when I joined and was managing a team of people in the southern part of the country of the UK, the revenue picked up. And in the 2 years that I was managing this team, we managed to accrue revenues of 44 million. Now, as I said, I'd never been in sales before, but it was something that I always wanted to do because I thought I'd be, really good at it and it would suit me. And yes, I was pretty good at it, but I can't say it was all me. There was a team of people who were doing this, team of people who I answered to, and also those who answered to me. So it was very much a team effort. However, at the time, I remember thinking, well, wow, if I can contribute to bringing in 44 million in 2 years, then what else can I do? Reasonable question. So I accepted the redundancy, and I took some time off. I think I took about 6 months off from work, and then I can't remember if it was can't remember which particular government department that pays you unemployment benefit after 6 months. They want to know that you're looking for work. And so I thought, well, yes, I'd better make an effort to look for work. And I saw an ad in the paper. And I really didn't give it much thought, to be honest. I saw the ad in the paper, and it was sales related. So I thought, well, but it's not out on the road like the job I'd done previously. So I thought, well, let me give it a go. And I need to go and check in with my, caseworker or whatever it might be called, but so that I can say, yes, I've been applying for jobs. So I went, I sent off for this job, and I went to see my caseworker. I said, look, I've completed this application, etc., etc. Anyway, I got an interview for this particular job and was successful. And it was in recruitment. It was to do with recruitment. And the job came with a basic salary and a lot of commission. So I thought, yep, I can do this. I was in this job for maybe about 6 months, could be a little bit longer. And the amount of money that I was earning, or that I had anticipated that I would earn, just didn't materialize, and things were getting pretty tight financially, and but I was enjoying the job. It was just difficult to survive with what I was being paid. So I'd like to say maybe it was 9 months. It was a good while. I stuck it out for a good while, and but also I should add that the previous company that I had worked for in sales, I'd been with since I was a teenager, and it was a large organisation, and your pay increases were set in stone. Basically, you knew if you did so much service, you got an extra day, or an extra amount of money, or whatever it is. There was a set pay structure, so there was no wondering or thinking, oh, what am I going to do? Or you have to go cap in hand to your manager. It was set by the company. Now, now fast forward now to this job that I'd taken in recruitment, and it was a much smaller organisation. And as I said, the returns that I thought I would be getting hadn't materialised. So I thought, well, I'm going to need to ask for what I'm wanting here, because this is just not happening. I'm not getting what they led me to believe I would get. And although it was a lovely company, lovely people, the job itself was great, but things just weren't materialising. So I said to I think I had my immediate line manager and the I don't know, called the CEO or executive of the company, and said, I needed to see them, needed to meet with them. I had something I needed to discuss, and I think we'd set a time, and might have been, it might be the next day or the day after, something like that. But anyway, I was kind of getting in my mind, okay, I know what I would like, and what I needed to be able to survive. But bearing in mind, I'd never in all my life asked for a pay rise from anybody, never had to. But I thought, nope, I'm going to do it. So the appointed day and time came, and I had this meeting with my managers. And before I started, they said, look, there's something we wanted to discuss with you. And so I was like, yeah, and it's around performance. And so I was like, okay, so they've got an issue with my performance. And they were saying, well, because I thought I was about to be told off for something, and I thought, well, how am I going to be getting told off for something here, and I'm going to be asking for more money? The two don't go together very well. But hey ho, I sat quietly and listened. And it wasn't that I was being told off, and it was more of a discussion, actually, because they were saying that things hadn't materialised in the way that they had expected either. And I guess that was regarding me, but they said that they had seen that I still had skills that they thought were of value, but the more commission-based role wasn't working for either of us. And I'd shared that, because they were speaking my language, because I'm like, well, I really, I'm not managing on what you're giving me at the moment, because the commission hasn't come through. And so they said, yes, we realise that. But I still didn't get to the point of actually asking for any extra money. Then my managers asked me to consider a new job. So I'm like, a new job? Yes, they said. They had created a role in the company for me that they thought would better suit my skills. So I thought, okay. The new job that they had created for me came with a pay increase. So I thought, well, a pay increase is good, because I that's what I'm needing. But I didn't say that at the time. I just sat and listened. And the pay increase was more than, I think it was 35, 36% increase in pay. Now this, as I say, was about maybe 30 years ago. No, it wasn't 30 years ago. 25? Could be, actually. Decades ago anyway. So for example, let's say if I was earning at that time, let's say 22,000, then they upped it to 30,000. That would be the 35% plus increase, and it was around that amount. So from 22,000 to 30,000 a year was what they were offering for a change in job role that didn't come with any more responsibility, really, or not much more. But as I said, I sat and listened, and so they said, "Oh, think about it, because we're aware that we haven't delivered on the promises that that we led you to believe, and we really don't want to lose you at this time. So please have a think about it." So I went out, and just before I left the office, they then said, "Oh yes, what was it you wanted to speak to us about?" And I just said to them, "The very thing that you've raised." And that was the end of the conversation. And I said, let me think about it overnight, and then I'll come back and let you know. So, but this job also, actually I forgot to add, this new job also came with commission. So it was a 36 point whatever something % increase in basic salary plus commission, but the commission was less than the role I had previously, but still with commission. So there was still the opportunity to earn a reasonable amount. So needless to say, inside I left that office skipping with joy. Poker face though, but I walked out of that room thinking, okay. I think I may even have thought, "Thank you, Lord." Now, I have to put it into context. At this time, I knew very little about the Lord. I was not on this path. I was very, very worldly. And so, a couple of days went past, and I accepted the job. Now, I don't believe in coincidence. In fact, there's no such thing as coincidence, because I understand now that whatever happens is as the Lord ordains. And what happened to me then, when I was working for this particular training organisation and recruitment, is as the Lord had ordained. And I guess what I'm sharing it with you because even though we may not be aware and we may not believe, He still looks after us. All your needs are provided, because He provided at the right time, because I was sinking fast financially, having come out of from working for an organisation that paid very, very well. The job came, expense account and company cars and this, that and the other, but from the previous organisation to then going to this small company that had much, much less to offer, but yet I was enjoying it. And the key thing about this company that I went to work for, that offered me this 35% increase, was on my first day at this company, which was the 10th of April 1995. On that day, it was another employee's first day. Myself and someone else, we both started doing the same job on the same day. Now that person later left, or actually before, was it before? I can't remember, but she hadn't stayed there as long as I had. She left, moved on. But we remained friends. And that friend and I went on holiday together in August 2019. And it was on that holiday that that friend shared with me, well, I say she shared with me, we shared a room, and she was already on her journey. She'd found her path, and you know, she would say to me, "Oh, do you mind if I pray?" And I'd be like, "Sure, go and knock yourself out," you know. And she'd do her prayers, and I'd be there looking out the window or whatever else I might be doing, and she would just share things with me. Lo and behold, that same friend, I'd say, she was very instrumental in the Lord's plans, so much so that I now live with that same friend 30 years later. Yes, just 30 years later, I'm now living with that same friend. The Lord had me sell up my home, my family, my life as it was, and move in with my friend in another part of the UK. But I guess I'm sharing this testimony because, as I say, it's to, even though you may not see it, you may not believe it, you may not know it, but He's there always, watching over you, protecting, leading and guiding our steps, whether we know it or not. So I guess my word to you is to believe. Just believe, because He loves us so much. God loves us so much. SophiYAH loves us so much. OrYAH, who died on the cross for us, loves us so much and asks for so very little in return. So I hope that this has blessed you. This testimony has blessed you, that it makes you think about episodes in your life where you think that you've had some kind of supernatural or coincidental benefits. You know, things have happened in your life that seem so incredible. Those are the times that you know it's our Father's hand. That's what it is. So we stay under His wing, under His protection, under His guidance, and with His love. So on that note, I share His love. I offer the love of Christ to all of you and to everybody watching and listening to this video, and I pray that it blesses you. Shalom.